Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. We're excited to have Taylor Rogie and Julissa Gonzalez from ExpandIT today. They will be presenting on simplifying field operations with field service management software. I know you're all excited to get started with this presentation, so before we begin, as a reminder, we are recording this webinar and we will be posting it on our on-demand webinar library for you to review and to share with others. If you have any questions during our presentations, feel free to type them into the questions box, and we will answer them at the end of our session during our Q&A. Now I'm going to turn it over to Taylor and Julissa to kick off our presentation.
Perfect. Thank you, Joe. So as mentioned, my name is Julissa Gonzalez, and I work on the marketing side here at ExpandIT. And I also have Taylor Rogie, who is a field service product expert and business analyst, who will be speaking in just a moment. And today we're going to be discussing how organizations can simplify field operations with a field service solution. So the agenda looks as follows. We'll take a look at the stakeholders in field service. Next, we'll look at the common pain points service organizations face. Then Taylor will get into how organizations can simplify processes. And then we'll share customer stories, and we'll finish off with some considerations companies should have in mind when thinking about field service. So a little bit about ExpandIT. ExpandIT was founded in 1998, so we have more than 20 years of experience as a Microsoft independent software vendor, and we specialize in service management. And we have a standard integration to all versions of Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, Finance, and Supply Chain Management. And we target small and medium-sized companies, and our Essentials offering comes at an affordable rate that can be implemented within a short period of time. And we provide training to empower your service and installation staff with information they need to serve your customers. And so what ExpandIT has done is that we've tackled a lot of challenges that companies face by having a single source of information. And typically, the companies that we work with have different stakeholders. And so these are customers, field workers, planners, service managers, and account managers. So for the customer is the one requesting service from the service company. And with ExpandIT, the ExpandIT Service Portal allows the customers to have the ability to request service, access service, and pay invoices online. Next, we have the technician. So the field technician is the primary person responsible for completing a service call and helping a customer with their service issue. And with ExpandIT, they can view their schedule, check time and materials, access history, and complete checklists. Next, we have the planner or the dispatcher. Planners are responsible for ensuring that the right technician gets to the right job with the right tools. And the ExpandIT solution provides them with the graphical planning, live updates, location services, and the ability to send push messages. And next we have the service manager. So the service manager is the key point of contact for any service-related need. And with ExpandIT, they can see all jobs, create new service requests, and approve completed jobs. And sometimes we'll have finance managers or account managers, and they're the ones that are responsible for all matters relating to accounting and the customer, included invoicing or payments. And with the ExpandIT, they can access history, create new service requests, view service reports, and invoices. And now we'll go into the common pain points that we've seen organizations face. We see that there are frequent errors and there's lost paperwork when recording time and material consumption in the field. There's difficulty making adjustments due to emergencies or changing priorities on projects or service calls. It can be time consuming for manual processes in both scheduling and work in the field. There's inefficient and poor communication between schedulers and technicians and between the end customer as well. There are significant invoicing delays, and there's a lack of visibility and the ability to verify job status internally for the end customer. And we have seen that information is often difficult to access for many of the stakeholders involved. And so now we'll get into the 5 different ways that companies can simplify and optimize their field services. The first way companies can simplify field services is by eliminating manual processes. So we all know that running a service business, or really any business, means juggling a lot of tasks, and ensuring you stay on top of them is difficult. And research has actually found that 52% of field service organizations are still using manual methods for service. And some of the manual processes that we see in the field are using paper reports and documents while out in the field, tracking time and materials consumed manually, and also using disconnected or outdated technology to communicate. And with paper reports and documentation, for example, paper reports are prone to error as they can be misplaced, lost, or illegible. And when documentation is lost or misplaced, retrieving the original document can be a hassle, time-consuming, and in some cases, impossible. Additionally, technicians often forget to track their time midway through a job, underestimate or overestimate the number of materials used, and all of this leads to inaccurate data. As well as using manual processes like email to communicate with technicians can be inefficient and sometimes ineffective. When technicians are out in the field, they often don't have access to their email or don't check it regularly. And when planners or dispatchers communicate time-sensitive updates to technicians through email, ensuring technicians have in fact received the update is difficult to track. And so a field service solution optimizes and simplifies the process by digitizing paper forms and reports, tracking time and materials consumed, and streamlining communications. So now I'll hand it over to Taylor to get into what that looks like.
All right, so service management software enables the technicians to complete reports and forms digitally. By creating forms that are on the go for the field to fill out, the back office is receiving the information almost instantaneously. This is connecting the field with the back office. Not only does this optimize business processes, but digital reporting ensures compliance from the field. Specific questions can be set as mandatory, questions can have dependencies upon answers, and forms can be marked as needing to be filled out at the beginning or end of the visit. This guarantees that the form is filled out and the back office and customer can receive the information as if they are on site. Within our system, the customer can create and maintain any forms that are needed. These can be customer specific, service item specific, or just general questionnaires. We give a range of different field types to limit the answers that are received, reduce typing, and guide the technician to answering the question as easily as possible. When the form is displayed in the field, it is an easy to read manner, only giving the technician what needs to be seen. But when the PDF version is created, the defined company logo and coloring, header information, and much more will be generated. Having the digitalized forms and reports saves money by eliminating the duplication of work and this scan and turn in process. Once the form is approved from the office, it can be immediately emailed out to the customer or any email address is selected. Tracking time and materials consumed is so important because this is data that is approved and sent back to become the cost of the job or order. If the information is not collected, the back office will not know the profitability of that job or service order. Having an easy-to-use list of items that were planned on being used to make the field call allows the field to quickly fill out what was used. If the field technician has truck inventory, they can easily filter down to the items that they have used or search to consume those items. The time the field technician is out on the site can be collected through an automatic timer based on the buttons that are selected, travel or work time. Or the technician can fill out the hours manually to the correct work type, which comes from Business Central. Either way, the time information is important for costing to make sure estimates are accurate and sales adjustments can be made. Expenses incurred can easily be lost when in the field, but having a mobile solution to easily collect the expenses, inventory, quick runs to a store, and time, it will not only save time for the back office and field staff, but also is a real-time job cost, which can easily be recorded. We even have a way to track non-inventoried expenses, such as hotel stays, meals, car rentals, per diems, anything you really want that can be costed to the order. Once the visit is finished for the day, the information will be sent back to the approval screen within ExpandIT to be reviewed, or we have an auto approval selection, and that information will be sent back to the ERP for costing purposes. We also have been able to streamline communication from the back office to the field through messaging. The dispatchers and planners can communicate with technicians through our mobile client. This is important when a company needs to get a message out to the team quickly. As we have seen, especially in the last year, as everyone has dealt with new COVID safety requirements and area shutdowns, they were able to get messages out to their teams immediately to let them know what was going on. These messages can save time by communicating all at once to their resources and staff, rather than contacting each technician individually. Messages can also be sent related to the planned visit. The message and subject can be pre-populated based on configuration options to pull specific information from within the scheduled visit to that message. These messages can be sent internally to a text message or even an email. Sending messages at the planned visit level will be logged at the work order as well, so it is easy for the dispatcher to reference. Within our messaging capabilities, we even can send a calendar invite to someone externally who is linked to an email. This is only for the messages at the planned visit, but it allows the customer to keep it in their calendar as well.
And so the second way to simplify field services is by improving scheduling. And we all know that getting the right person to the right job with the right tools at the right time is critical for any business. And Verizon Connect research has found that 25% of field service organizations are still using spreadsheets for job scheduling, while the rest use whiteboards and other manual methods. And this manual method approach to scheduling makes it very difficult to react to changes or quickly make adjustments. And a manual scheduling process can be inefficient and often leads to errors or miscommunications. When companies schedule work orders or jobs on standalone solutions like whiteboards, Excel files, or email, having a complete overview of the scheduled jobs can get very messy and chaotic. And organizations can optimize and simplify scheduling with a field service solution by using a digital schedule, having a complete overview of jobs, and having visibility of job status.
A digital schedule will eliminate paper, whiteboards, and trips to the office by making schedules easily accessible from a smartphone or tablet. Having the ability to go offline when a mobile user drops service is allowing the field to continue their job and get all information back to the office when they have received a new connection. Every few seconds, the system is able to look for service, and when it's found, any modified and new information is sent back to the dispatcher screen, while receiving any new and modified records as well. Having visibility of what work has been scheduled for the field technician is just as important as the dispatcher knowing what status or state the job is in. Our solution interacts with the mobile device, allowing for little to no paperwork needing to be exchanged. It does not require additional communication to get the schedule out, which in return allows the service technician to service more jobs each day and the dispatcher to know what has been scheduled. ExpandIT gives the dispatchers a complete overview of the job details at the tip of their fingers. Knowing what the job entails, what is expected out in the field, customer contacts, job site address, dates, and much more comes from the ERP system and is displayed in an easy-to-read format for the dispatch team. When we even have mapping capabilities from both the dispatcher side and the mobile device. When a dispatcher is not sure where the job is or if the job is located near other work, the mapping capabilities will allow the dispatcher to plan accordingly. We are not doing route management, but displaying all needed information on a map to make wise route decisions and giving an option based on distance nearby technicians, available work based on distance, the map will update the technician's location as long as the application is open on the device. By using Google Maps, it allows the dispatcher to see all landmarks, cities, restaurants, hotels, and any nearby locations. From the planning board, the dispatcher is able to see the status of the planned visits that have been scheduled to the technicians. If the mobile device is online and has service, the visit statuses are updating on the planning board within seconds. This gives the dispatchers a quick glance at the schedule and status of those visits, allowing them to know what is happening in the field without being in the field or on that exact job site. At all times, the dispatcher should be able to answer a question from their customers, reduce double bookings of their resources, and know what each resource is working on and what step in the process they are at. The different colors correlate with the status of the visit, the status of the work order is in, and what still needs to be done from a planning perspective. The planning board gives a summary of what is happening for the day or past days in future. The details lay behind each of those planned visits on the board by double-clicking on any of the visits. This will open up the work order, which has all information from the visit or multiple visits scheduled. Most of the information is pulled from the ERP. What is actually consumed in the field is what will then display in a separate section of the work order and can be approved and sent back to the ERP for costing.
And the third way to simplify field service is by enhancing resource optimization. So what this means is, to paint a picture, let's say that you have 100 service technicians in the field covering a huge geographic territory. While everyone can perform most tasks, we understand that some people are better at certain tasks and some technicians perform very specialized services. And as a service organization, you not only have to juggle the skills of your technicians, but also their geographic locations when trying to respond to service requests. And getting it right has a huge impact on customer satisfaction. And organizations can enhance resource optimization with the field service management software by having a single source of information, by being able to easily message technicians and track technicians' location, and by managing work orders in one place.
Having a single source of information is key when planning work. The planners or dispatchers are juggling multiple functions of the process and need to see all pertinent information at once. Having a quick access of information will make scheduling a breeze. Our system receives all job and order details from the ERP and will send the approved information to the ERP for the next person in the process. Being most efficient when scheduling not only saves money, but it also improves customer satisfaction. Our field service management software includes this built-in map, showing the location of service technicians as well as the location of jobs and estimate travel time, which enables dispatchers to make informed decisions about the right person for the job. Our system can help optimize routes and schedule resources, which leads to a reduction in travel time and improved response time. The mapping capability will visually help any dispatcher. A setting can be turned on to see the location of the field technician as long as they have the application open and are in reception while they're en route to the site. This will update the map for the dispatcher to see the person and how far away they are from the site. Within the map, you will be able to see any available work near the technician, as we know there are at times when the schedule changes while on site. Maybe the site was not ready for service or installation. The dispatcher can quickly reroute the technician or crew to a nearby and available job, or they can be sent to help out another crew on site. By easily seeing where work is planned, what work is available, and who is near, the dispatcher is able to quickly make those decisions without having to waste any time. From the planning board, the dispatcher has the ability to easily create a work order, a job or service order within ExpandIT instead of having to go back to the ERP system first. When there is an emergency call, it makes it very easy to get the visit on the schedule from one screen. New work orders can be created against existing customers, projects, and service items from within the ERP. But if a new project does come up, it is able to be filled out at the most basic level to get the work scheduled. Since this is being fully created within ExpandIT, all fields would have to be manually entered and selected, just like you would in the ERP. Once this work order has been worked on and approved, it will be sent to the ERP for creation with all consumed materials and time. Again, this is allowing the field to quickly create work orders to get a visit on the schedule. This can even be done from within the field client. The mobile technician has the same ability to create a new work order or additional tasks to already planned visits. So instead of calling into the office to create a new work order, add something to their work, or make note that additional work will need to be done in the future, the field worker can do it themselves. If the work needs to be done in the future, they can create that work order, add all needed information and details, and plan it to what we call a pool, which could trigger the dispatcher and planner to assign it to a service technician on the date selected. There are so many ways to use this function. It saves so much time.
And so a fourth way to simplify field services is by increasing first-time fix rates. So some questions you want to ask yourself is, are your service technicians properly prepared for jobs? That meaning, do they have the tools and parts needed to complete a job the first time? And what about access to previous job history or other critical information to get the job completed correctly the first time? Research from the Aberdeen Group has found that best-in-class field service organizations resolve the issue on the first visit 88% of the time. And the average companies achieve an 80% rate, and the laggards struggle at 63%. That means that in many cases, over 20% of customers are unhappy with the service being provided to them. And the long-term impact of that is huge. And organizations can increase first-time fix rates with the field service management software by having mobile access to all information, having a field service software that integrates into your ERP, and by being able to capture required information.
Accessing the historical work from the mobile device for a given customer, service item, or job is important. If multiple visits are being scheduled, the field should know what has previously happened at visits to make sure they are only working on what has been assigned or what is needing to be done. Having access to forms previously filled out, pictures of work that has been done, or the condition of the job site that it was left in previously can help the current visit be accomplished quicker. Viewing the history gives a complete picture of the job site. The history will show previous work orders, materials consumed, time consumed, forms filled out, comments or messages made, and pictures saved. This helps any field technician understand the history of the job site. Reference data that maybe the customer is referring to, rather than saying they were not the one who performed the original inspection, It makes the company a whole rather than segregated. Integrating with Microsoft Dynamics ERP systems ensures data can be retrieved as required, enabling service technicians to prepare more effectively for a service visit and increase first-time fix rates. All data collected in the field can be reviewed and modified, sent back to the accounting system for costing, billing, and invoicing. Having a seamless integration is key to making multiple systems feel that they are a one-stop shop, even with add-in applications. The add-in applications are to elevate the business process, but also to make sure that the integration feels seamless.
And the fifth way to simplify field services is by speeding up invoicing and payment. Every day that service companies wait for information to come in from the field about service work performed is lost profit. And so something to ask yourself is, are manual processes, paper documents, and disconnected systems making invoicing a slow process for your organization? If the answer is yes, and if sending invoices out takes weeks after a job is completed, it's time to find a better way, or at least learn about the options that exist. In this age, customers expect to use modern, on-demand technology that enables them to self-serve. And organizations can speed up invoicing and payment with a field service management software by allowing customers to view and pay invoices online, enable customers to request service, and ensure accurate invoicing.
ExpandIT has a self-service portal, which enables customers to not only pay invoices online, but encompasses all interactions with the customer, which reduces administrative costs for service companies. Customers have the ability to request service calls, report incidents, or even see where a particular visit stands. Most importantly, it shows the status of the visit. This portal is easy to use and can eliminate calls to the office. Your customers are able to log in and see all information themselves. Approving consumed time and materials from our system is a breeze. We are displaying all information that is needing to be reviewed and can be sent to the ERP at the next injection of data. The time and materials can be modified, added, or deleted before approval to make sure the costing will be correct. This will allow the accounting team to have the information without having a manual process for checking the data. We do have auto approval capabilities as well, which will streamline the information coming from the field to the ERP. We see some customers wanting to review the data before it makes it to the ERP to make sure records are correct.
And so now we'll go into a couple of customer stories. So we'll discuss the pain points the organizations faced, followed by how a field service solution helped them simplify their processes. And we have an example of a mid-sized manufacturing and service organization and a small manufacturing and distribution organization. So the first example is that of a manufacturer and service provider of power solutions. So prior to implementing a mobile field service solution, the customer experienced significant business pain in their field operations. To start with, the degree of manual processes such as manual disconnected scheduling that resulted in phone and email communication. And this led to frequent delays on the work and on the job. And this resulted in slow response times on critical service calls as well. There was frequent errors in paperwork. Technicians made errors, forgot to submit, or lost their paperwork with the time and materials consumed on a job. And because of these manual processes and errors, the invoicing to payment period was frequently greater than 120 days. And after implementing a mobile field service solution, scheduling was a lot smoother. Planners in the office now have a complete overview of field resources which increases the capacity of workers in the field. They are now able to complete up to 20 more work per day. Using on-site digital reports, manual paperwork is no longer lost or forgotten. Technicians can fill out all required forms digitally on the job, and everything is automatically stored in the right place. The organization is able to invoice the customer within 24 hours, and customers receive a summary and invoice right away, which helps the company improve their cash flow. And by having an integrated and connected system, communication between planners and technicians has improved dramatically. And the other customer example is the water filtration company that does assembly and fabrication of their products in the facilities and installation of water filtration systems at the customer's location. The customer was looking for a solution that was integrated to their ERP system and scalable enough that could triple their field staff in the coming 18 months. And the pain points the organization faced were costing them money. They were getting complaints from their customers about poor communication and frequent delays caused by outdated systems and manual processes. The organization did not have a connected or integrated system in place, so many of the operational processes were manual and disconnected. For example, the planner would have to schedule the service jobs for technicians on a whiteboard. Technicians would have to go into the office every day just to take a picture of what their schedule looked like. There was a lot of duplicate work. Technicians would write notes on a scrap piece of paper, and they would take that to the job site. And then the planner in the office would have to retype these notes before sending it off to accounting for approval and invoicing. And the manual process was a drain on their resources and frustrating to many of the employees. And a major business concern was scalability due to the outdated technology. The company was rapidly expanding into new geographical areas based on demand. Unfortunately, with the disconnected systems in place, it would be very difficult for an organization to keep up with this growth. And planners and dispatchers were using a lot of time planning and scheduling their technicians, and technicians would have to make multiple trips, reducing the efficiency of the projects and installations. And after the filtration company implemented a mobile field service solution, they improved their business processes in a number of ways. So they were able to improve communications and receive faster feedback from customers. For example, if a customer needed to request an urgent service call, they could now request the service call through the online portal. And customers had access to their information 24/7 through the portal. They no longer had to rely on a service representative to answer many of their questions by phone or by email. And additionally, if there was any information that the customer wanted to give the planner or technician, they could now communicate that with them via the messenger tool on the service portal. The filtration company now had the ability to send the invoice to customers much faster. The invoice included pictures and all of the reports that were required to customers, so customers knew exactly what had been done on the job. And as a result of eliminating manual processes, duplicate work was also reduced. It now takes a company an estimated of 18% less time to complete an on-site installation. Planning has improved significantly. Technicians can see their daily and long-term schedule on their mobile devices. If technicians complete work earlier than expected, they can immediately move on to the next job before the end of the workday. And the organization has been able to streamline processes. So the mobile client helps technicians be more prepared. And prior to going to a job site, technicians have access to historical records. They can see any work that has previously been done on that particular job. And they can also know exactly what equipment and tools to bring. So during the service jobs, technicians can track time, additional materials used, and write down any notes that need to be collected. So to conclude, these amazing benefits led to improved efficiency and cost savings for the company. It also allowed field service technicians to focus on delivery in the field and customer satisfaction. And this ultimately improved business profitability and had also allowed the organization to realize their growth vision.
We have mentioned throughout this presentation, the ExpandIT Field Service Management software works best with data from the Dynamics ERP and a workflow that ends in the Dynamics 365 ERP, having all needed field data captured by ExpandIT to finish the postings and invoicing process. It is important to know ExpandIT does not replace or duplicate functionality in service orders, projects, or jobs. Instead, we provide the tools that make the management of field servicing staff possible with the planning board and field client we showed. As well, we do want to point out that ExpandIT does have a customer portal option that can provide your customers with a view into work being planned, work in progress, and work completed, including a copy of any forms and invoices, all online in a branded web portal.
Perfect. So right now I'll hand it back to Joe to see if there are any questions.
Yes, thank you. We do have a couple of questions in here. The first one is, can the solution be customized to have more or less functionality?
Yes, definitely. So we have two basic products. One is our Essentials customer, and then we also have a Premium customer licensing type. So our Essentials is 100. It's basically our base product. We are constantly upgrading it, and our customers are getting those upgrades basically for free. So all of that can be, that's just your basic package. And then on top of that, we do have a premium customer pricing where we actually do a full-blown workshop with the partner and the customer, and we want to make sure that one, it's the right solution for them, and then also to begin understanding their business process and how they expect the system to work. And from there, we go through an extensive review of our findings. We put together a gap analysis, and we start defining out what we believe, along with the customers, needs to be done to make our system work for them.
Thank you. And we got one more here. Does the solution work offline?
Yes, so we do have offline capabilities. What we have done is basically you enable your device to go online or offline. And what that means is you download the information to your device that you're working on. And as soon as you lose reception, it will actually keep all that information there, allow you to keep moving through your day. So you can continue to track your time, you can continue adding materials, modifying your materials, filling out forms, saving attachments, anything really you can do on the application. And you could even move on to another job as well. So you can be continuing throughout your whole day. Let's say you're 5 hours with no reception, just keep going. As soon as the mobile device does collect reception again, it's actually going to send all of that data that was collected back into the planning board and collect any new and modified records as well. So it's constantly looking for that ping to get all the information to and from.
Okay, that sounds good. That looks like all the questions we have for now. So please feel free to contact us, Taylor or Julissa, or their team at ExpandIT with any additional questions you may have. I want to thank Taylor and Julissa for presenting today, and everyone on today's webinar, or if you're watching on demand, we thank you for taking the time to join us. And just as a reminder, we have new training workshops for you and your team members to attend. Visit our training workshop page at inovia.com/workshops for more information and to register for the training workshop that best fits your role. We also have more webinars coming up. Tomorrow afternoon, take some time out to join us as Inovia's own Jim Augustine presents his webinar, Notes from the Field, Warehousing. So check out our website for more of our upcoming events, and that's at inovia.com/events. And don't forget to check out our Inovia Conversation podcast with hosts Steve Oltz and Jeff Pergolski. You can find out about all the different platforms to listen to them on our podcast page. And that's at inovia.com/podcast. And while you're there, you can check out our podcast library. And be sure to subscribe to receive notifications when new episodes air. And we have events coming up. For a list of the events we have coming up, head over to inovia.com/conferences for a complete list. I want to thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at another Inovia webinar. Thank you, Taylor and Julissa.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.